Welcome to the Diary of a Ghost Hunter podcast with your frightfully good hosts and paranormal investigators, Anne and Renata. Join the chaos weekly as we tell you what has inspired us, what cases we're investigating, what is driving us round the twist, and the true horror of what goes on in the background of being a ghost hunter. This is a frightfully good production. Welcome to this week's episode of Diary of a Ghost Hunter, and this week we are going to do a little bit more following up of a private case. We'll be looking at what is acceptable and what is not. We'll also be looking at a message I received in regards to Ozparatech, my equipment store today, which I'm going to let Renata deal with, and a new venue that we are going to be revealing very soon, and how you go about getting a venue to do a ghost hunt in. And our listener's question this week is from Mel. All that and probably more on this week's episode.
Hey. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Renata. Boy, we are really cutting it fine, aren't we?
Yes, it's been another big week. We're just days out of Christmas and one of us is really hanging for it, Anne.
Yeah, I'm hanging by a thread. I thought I was hanging by a thread last week, but no, I'm hanging by a thread this week. So I'm finding it very difficult to actually sit down and do the work I need to do. My heart is on holidays already, but my blocked head with a head cold at the moment is not good. And also I've been babysitting grandchildren all day today. They've been good, but it's full on. It's very full on. Now we've got to follow up on one of the cases that we were doing, and we actually thought we'd put this to rest, didn't we? Mm-hmm. This particular case. Mm-hmm. And then as we were coming back from, I can't even remember where we were coming back from, my phone, as soon as I pulled up in front of my house, started going ding, 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 and it kept going and going, and I'm sitting there looking at it going, what is going on? Is my phone broken? Is it the one message that's stuck? Am I being spammed? And I got out of the car and I started walking to the house and it's still gone ding, 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 ding. I ended up with 235 text messages.
Indeed you did.
And I believe you also received it as well, but your phone refused to accept them all.
Yep, that's correct.
So what do we say about this? This is really difficult because the person involved must have been in a rather... what's the best way to say it? What state?
Excited.
Yeah.
An excitable state, and they thought that it was going to be okay to send all that stuff that they believe is really exciting and important information to us. We're her gatekeepers, or what, I'm not sure, but yes, maybe it was a mistake, maybe it wasn't meant to all go through.
No, it was. It was all meant to come through.
Okay, well...
Because I scanned through the specific part of it to us, and they were receiving all this information which they felt they needed to pass on. They were getting downloads and they needed to pass on this information to us and their gratitude to us. But it's not appropriate to send people 235 text messages. And my concern is that this person is actually also messaging big named people with all of this information, and they're not going to... they won't be heard. They won't be heard, and they won't be treated with respect. It's a real concern for that person. They were having a moment where they should have actually just stepped away from the situation they're in and reached out to someone who could support them in the state they were in at that time. Whenever you get into that very excited state where you feel you must tell the world and it's very important, write it down in a journal and come back to it the next day and see how you feel. Don't jump onto your phone and start texting people all over the world. I'm dreading to think what this person's phone bill will be because they were also texting internationally.
But they were warned not to do that.
They
so
were.
They need to now, I guess, look at the consequences of doing that. But, this is part of the work that we do is sometimes precariously positioned between making someone very, very upset if you tell them to stop or to hold off or to reconsider, or to allow them to do what they feel that they need to do. And kind of, the line is we're not sure whether, we're not the ones to say yes or no to what another person should be doing. All we can do is give advice and go, if you were asking me, I would not do this or I would do this. And that's all you can offer.
Yeah. And, this person's done this from a beautiful, wonderful place. It's not from a place of harming people, just excitability to share it with everyone. But it will not be well received by people, and I'm concerned for them. It can really damage your psyche if you put your beliefs out into the world, particularly if they're a little bit left of centre, and you will get backlash. Absolutely will get backlash from people. And although I appreciate their enthusiasm, it's not appropriate to send 235 text messages to someone's private phone.
And we see this all the time when people come in and are quite new to this field. They get very, very excited and they want to ask 1,000 questions. And when they find someone who's listening to them, those people become their best friends. And they want to keep asking questions.
Well, in their mind's eye, they've become their best friends.
Yes.
We are remaining professional and just trying to give what advice we can through the knowledge we have. We can't be everyone's best friend because we just don't have that time to give that. A best friend is someone who does give you their time day in and day out, and we're not in that position. We're quite happy to say hi and offer what we can, but we can't be their support crew. We can't be their best pal.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's really hard, and my heart goes out to people who find themselves in these situations, and when they've found a soft place to fall, they want to keep falling there because it is a nice soft place, but the rest of the world is not going to be like that. And Renata did caution them to make a journal, write everything down, don't put it out to the rest of the world, but instead they've done something different. So I fear for them. Anyway, I haven't had a text for a while, so that's good. Now, I did have a email today that I received for OzParatech, which is the paranormal equipment store that I run. Everyone gets this confused because they think Renata and I run it. My husband Roman and I run that. Renata runs Newcastle Ghost Tours. I work for Renata, but that's not my business. So we have two separate businesses, but when we do things together, we are frightfully good.
Oh, we are.
All the ghost
Absolutely.
grannies. So the message I received today, Renata, and I think you can help me with this one, is this particular person said they really need some help in how do they get onto some witches and some bitches.
Witches and bitches.
Yep. That was the message I received via email today. I thought you'd really like that.
I don't understand. What do they actually want?
I think they're after a
good time?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but there's plenty of sites out there. You just got to look. Don't ask us.
Hang on, I'll find it here. This is, we'll just say their PJ is their name. And hi, I'm interested in learning more about how to get witches and bitches.
Oh, nice. Oh, well.
Geez, there's a catch for you ladies.
Yes.
PJ's waiting for you.
Yep.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Just send them to me. I'll send them a nice long email.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll happily do that. Right, now, we have got a new venue coming online.
Yes.
Oh, very exciting.
We've been working in the background for a little while to try and get this together. And it is at a place where we are already doing investigations, Maitland Jail, and that's all I'll be saying to you at this point in time. The space that we have has not been used for over 20 years. So there have been no tours, there have been no workshops, it hasn't been open to the general public. So we will be the first going in there to explore and investigate after 20 years. So almost going back to the closure of the jail.
Yep.
So this is going to be really interesting. Now, we have had a small peek inside so that we can make some decisions on what we want.
Oh, it's very vibey. It's never been investigated.
Yes, I reckon it's got a lot of secrets to share. This is going to be a very special event, and it's going to be time limited. So we only have it for a few months.
And it's gone forever.
And we are going to try and get as many people through as we can, but it is a bespoke event.
Yes.
So it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the others that we do. There will be smaller numbers. We will be doing very interesting
more hands-on
experiments. Yep, more hands-on.
Yeah.
And allowing you a real opportunity to investigate.
And
so
it will definitely be 18 plus. It will not be a 15 years and over for this one. Definitely 18 plus, but we're excited.
Tickets won't be available until after January the 4th.
And the first tour, if I remember correctly, is
18th, I think. 18th of January.
Yeah, something like that. So when they come up, grab them, because once they're gone, they're gone.
And you want to be the first ones
20th.
through.
20th,
yeah. Okay, you want to be the first ones to go in.
I reckon we need to get something made up to say that they were the first person to investigate that area. We need some sort of little certificate. Certificate of participation. Don't we all love a certificate of participation?
We can do that.
We can do that. Also, we had an inquiry today from another team who said that they are trying to raise their profile, so to speak, and wanted to know how we could help them or tell them to be able to get locations for them to investigate or to possibly run tours at, and how they could become a more professional team. And that's really hard. That's a really hard one, Renata. How would you answer that?
Well, number one, the profile that you have on Facebook is what most people are going to see and judge you on. So you have to keep that very, very clean and very, very professional.
You never air your dirty laundry out there. If you are having an upset with another team or a team member, do not put it on social media, because that makes you look bad as well. People don't really... They don't really want to know about that. They want to know about the good things that you're doing, the investigations, the techniques you're using. They don't want to hear how somebody stabbed you in the back and they've taken their venue and this person said nasty things about you, because it's really high school. It's really high school. And another thing in regards to that sort of thing, anything that you put out anywhere, always check your spelling. Because there's nothing worse than having a really fabulous post go out with bad spelling in there.
I do that all the time.
I know, and we get it, and we photocopy, we screenshot it, we put circles around it and say, fix it. I mean, I do it every now and then as well, but sometimes we're just in a rush, and or we're not well, because you weren't well there for a week.
No, I wasn't well for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, you had your vertigo, and then you got your Rona, and it was just like, done. And then we were investigating with Isaac and Claire again last Thursday night.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, that was another whole experience, wasn't it?
It was. But going back to the question...
Oh, sorry. Squirrel.
This is something that a lot of new starters ask. And the problem is, you are a new starter. You are someone who is new onto the scene, and people need time to learn about you and learn about what you do. And if you've been together and formed a team and it's your 12th week of being together and you're reaching out to get venues, people are going to want to know some information about what you've done previously. and what else do you do? So you've got to have some sort of a backup, and I know this is difficult, and in Australia it is particularly difficult. If you're in England, you can literally walk down the road of wherever you are and there's a haunted place there somewhere, absolutely, around every corner. But in Australia, they are few and far between. And a lot of people have been working already for a long time in most areas. And they've kind of put their mark on certain places.
They've pissed on their patch, Renata.
And lo and behold, you jumping on that site and going, oh, I want to work there too.
Yeah, yes, it's not fair. You've got it all to yourself.
You could be slaughtered. So, number one, you have to find somewhere where people have not investigated before, or a team no longer works there, whatever, and approach them. And you better be hoping that the last team that was there did a pretty good job, and that the stakeholders, the owners, the friends of, or whoever is looking after that site is still open to having paranormal investigators there, because there are a number of sites around Australia that are now absolutely closed off, and people don't even want to speak to people anymore because of something that happened with another team, and they no longer are interested. And we have doors shut in our face still. I've been working here
very recently and very nastily
Newcastle for 11 years now, and I still get doors shut in my face to say, no, we do not want ghost tours. And you can explain until you're blue in the face that it's going to be money for you and all of this sort of stuff. No,
they would rather go broke and lose the property than have a ghost hunter in there bringing money in for them.
Absolutely. So I feel for new teams. I feel for new people, especially when you've got a small township or a small city to try and work in, and sort of make your spot in there. I do feel for them. On the other hand, there have also been, in many areas, not only in Australia but overseas, underhanded methods of taking spots and taking out teams to install themselves in places, and spreading rumours and spreading lies and everything that goes with it. It's part and parcel of the game that paranormal investigators play to try and get spots.
If you're doing that sort of stuff, get out of the field, please, because you're giving us all a bad name. Seriously, I hate it. I hate the underhanded tactics where they go and make up absolute bull dust about a really good, honest team that is putting in the hard work, and they just, because they want to get it themselves, or they just, well, if we can't have it, neither can they, and they'll go and badmouth people. Comes back at your karma. Let me tell you, that team will not be together in 12 months because they don't have, what do you call it? Morals. I don't know what it is. It's just, if they're that low that they think that's a good thing, then they're just not gonna. It's not gonna work. Will not work.
And you've also got to understand that people within the structure of the places that you are hiring also change. So you may get someone better who is more open to your ideas and want to be a part of everything that you're doing, or you may get a new manager or publican in a pub or whatever it might be who will say, no, I'm sorry, I don't care how long you've been doing things, you are not coming back as long as I am here. So all of these things are these variances that are just going to happen, and all I can say to people is just keep trying and be as professional as you can be. But it's very, very difficult if you don't have something that says I've been in this game for a little bit longer than a few weeks.
Yeah, and the new teams also have this thing where they feel like they've got to enter the field as experts. They know everything straight away, and that's far from the truth. There is so much learning to be done, and most of them do start off because they've been watching the TV shows or they're watching people on YouTube and they think, we'd like to do that. And that's great. That's wonderful. Awesome. But there's a lot to learn before you take on a private case and help out someone who may be having issues. maybe nothing to do with the spirit world. I always harp on about the fact you should do some grief counselling training. You should do some counselling training before you even attempt to help somebody in a situation.
At least mental health first aid.
Yep, yep. All right, so that's and getting a venue, yeah, and you've got to make sure you've got the right insurances in place and everything. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to get a venue because a lot of people have already ruined it out there for us. Some listeners' questions. Now, before we go to Mel, I found all the questions that people had asked. Diana RG said, what experience made either of you do what you do? Is there any one experience for you?
No, it was just a progression. It was going to always happen. It was always going to be a part of my life. I just had to wait until all of my children were grown up.
Yeah, sort of me too.
And I had nothing holding me back because we didn't come from a family that could give us stuff. We had to work from the ground up. And so it was just the struggle kept you away from it until it was okay to do it. Yeah. But it was always going to happen for me.
But you had experiences right from a child.
Yeah.
You saw dead people.
Yeah.
Me, I think I might be able to trace mine back to when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And they used to do that stiff as a feather, light as a board. And it always fascinated me. And then I heard the girls were doing Ouija boards or seances or things when I was in like the early stages of high school, so like 13 or something. And that sort of fascinated me. I started to read ghost stories and things, but I'm pretty sure it was the light as a feather, stiff as the board, because I couldn't work out what the hell was going on. Tracy McKay, was there a moment that really made us believers? Was there a moment in time that we went, oh boy, there really is something out there?
No, I can't pinpoint a moment because, again, mine's been this long, extended delving into this in so many different ways over such a long period of time. I mean, 30 odd years, 40 years almost in doing this. So, again, it was always something that was going to mature, it was going to change, it was going to be different, but I always had a sense of something more. Just want to know what that is. Yeah. I just want to kind of go, there's no profound moment. I've had so many profound moments.
I've had a couple of moments.
And none of them have kind of made me think more of what I thought before that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I had a couple of moments where I've gone, oh, right, okay, something just actually happened that I can't explain. And I know one of them was my very first EVP that I ever got. When I was in the cemetery by myself, at the top half of the cemetery. There was two ladies right down the very bottom, and I got a male voice saying, "We're watching you." And when I played that back and heard it, it felt like somebody had dumped ice water all over me. And just that chill that goes through you when all of a sudden your world shifts as you realise there is way more out there than what your closed little mind had been perceiving.
Yeah,
that was a good moment for me. And now we're going to go back now to... I've got to find the one I had before. I've accidentally screenshot all this stuff that I wasn't meant to. I've lost it. Who was it? It was Mel. Mel had sent this really interesting message about an experience that she'd had, and of course now I can't pause anything. Here it is. One of my colleagues recently passed last week in a road accident, and their funeral was going to be the next day, and they've had lots of flowers delivered to their workspace. So they're sitting there surrounded by flowers, people are leaving messages and other things there for their memorial. The moment I walk into work, the very top of my head tingles. It honestly feels like a bug crawling on it or someone touching it. No matter how many times I brush my hand over it, it doesn't really stop. It's not painful, it's just tingling. I start thinking it's some weird nerve thing somehow. I try to forget about it, but it keeps happening, and suddenly I just know it's him. He's there. I'm not a psychic medium though. I don't see ghosts. It's a weird intuitive feeling like a knowing. Anyway, as soon as I leave work, the feeling goes away, and they've not had it since that day. What is going on?
Just one of those things, isn't it?
Yep.
It's another jot.
Jot, J-O-T-T. Jot, just one. Oh, J-O-O-T-T. Just one of those things. It's actually a term they use in the paranormal community.
Yep. So it can be a one-off. It may never happen again. Because she is in heightened emotion, because these flowers are coming in, and because that's reminding them of the loss of their employee, of the person they were working with. They are emotionally and energetically connected to this whole process, and so they are far more open than ever before when it comes to that connection with the spirit world. And yep, she's just tuned straight in. Again, it's this, like, if you're thinking of yourself like a radio and you're tuning into a particular frequency, you're tuning into that frequency of grief and loss. And the other side is connecting at the same time, and so you've actually jumped on a radio station, more or less,
yeah.
And you're reading what is going on there. She is getting it just energetically. She's getting it through feelings,
But also through the crown chakra, which I
Yeah.
thought was really interesting. Because sometimes they do say that this is the connection to spirit through your crown chakra. So anyway, there you go.
Good on you, Mel.
The dogs are barking.
Well done.
I'm glad you had an experience and recognised what it was for you. That's pretty cool. A lot of us will never even connect that together. So it's nice that they came to say farewell to you. But that's it for this week's Diary of a Ghost Hunter, and it's the end for this year. We will be back next year towards the end of January. Now, next year will be a little bit of a discombobulated year because we do have so much travel on next year. So I don't know if we can do much pre-records. We will do our best. But it's not, because it's the diary of what we're doing in a week, we can't exactly pre-record it. One thing I can do is take a couple of microphones away with us when we travel. We can record something on the fly and upload it, because we'll have our laptops. But it's all going to come down to time. But are you enjoying it? Because if you are enjoying it, share it around. We've got to get the numbers up. We've got to get to 500 downloads a week, and we're pretty close, so that we can get this one monetized, so that it can help pay for what we do, because we do this full time. So this is what we are looking for, income, and we don't want to be wasting our time on stuff that you guys aren't enjoying. We'd rather find things that you actually do enjoy. It's important, because we do like to share what we're doing. But yeah, that's it. We want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. What do you want to say, Renata?
Yes, thank you so very much for being here all year long. We hope that you join us in 2023 for more exciting episodes of Diary of a Ghost Hunter and True Hauntings, of course.
And we're going to be travelling internationally, so there's going to be some awesome Diaries of a Ghost Hunter.
Oh, won't there just? There might actually be Diaries of a Ghost Hunter every day.
Oh, no, I don't think we can upload it every day.
But yes, thank you everyone, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again in the new year.
Stay safe, stay spooky, see you on the dark side, and be
frightfully good.
Bye.
Bye.